Recording to this computer. All right, I think we are recording now.
Awesome.
So thanks for joining. And today we've got a meeting of the Dalten Collective. For us, that would be a quorum of 3, given a 5-member collective. So we do have a quorum here. So today I wanted to sort of reiterate first and foremost kind of what we're doing here and why this thing even exists. So I've been thinking about group organization and ways of collaboration for many years now, and I originally had this intuition that the blockchain was going to be some sort of magic bullet that was going to allow this to happen. And in some ways that is certainly true, especially financially, right? So in our particular instance, we use a multi-signature contract in order to manage our comings and our goings, but it hasn't been the kind of end all be all solution that I once thought it was. And I'm still experimenting with these ideas, and where I've come up with the Dalten Collective is it's a group of people that are using Urbit to organize themselves in a for-profit manner, such that it is a member-focused organization where we're all here to build each other up and to help each other succeed. It is less important about what we do, is about how we do it, and we're here, to also to have a good time. We're friends, we're colleagues. It's a bit of a mix of a lot of different things, but it is really about the people, and it is about helping each other succeed. So that's the reason why we're here. And where we are at in that process currently is that we have a home on Urbit, on Dalten, the Dalten Star, which will soon be transferred to the Urbit, or to the collective multisig, which all 3 of us on this call today are members. And I'd like to talk about, 1, that transition, and 2, getting a bit more formal about what membership means. So in my head, currently, there are 5 members. So those folks that have signed up to be on the multisig, 3 of which are here, and then everyone else is interested. They're participating in a sort of loose sense, but at least the 3 of us here and the other 2 are committed in some sense. We've taken some action, and right now we're going to be taking some responsibility as soon as that star becomes a property of the multisig. So I'll quickly just give some of my thoughts, and then I'll kind of open it up more generally for you guys to weigh in here. I think it's important in any group that there be a structure at which it is absolutely clear about when you are in the group and when you are not. At what point are you out of the group? At what point have you achieved something of importance within the group as well? Traditionally, these have been called rites of passage, or rituals, or ceremonies, things like that. And I think that is important, 1, for bonding, 2, for consistency, tradition, and all these things put together. And where we're at currently is membership, adding new folks to this group. How is that going to happen? And I think having some sort of ceremony to mark that occasion is very important. And of course we can talk about further things like criteria and why we'd want to have some people in and maybe not others. But 1, be thinking about what those rites of passage might be. 2, how we are going to structure ourselves in like how we are going to make decisions. Mostly, I think that what that looks like in a group that's this small, it's more informal. The word coherence comes to mind when I think about this group and how it should generally function. So if we are doing our job in the sense of we're listening to each other, we're spending time together, participating, then we're going to have a sense of where the other person's at, and we're going to have a general consensus most of the time. And that won't require any kind of further decision-making process outside of sort of that framework. So that's what I would like to propose as a general idea of organization to begin with. So for this group, in the next coming weeks, define something along the lines of membership entrance, and be thinking about what it is something that we could be doing with ourselves now that we have a kind of a more formalized structure or a more specific structure. So that's kind of the frame of what I wanted to talk about today. So maybe Eric, if you wanted to kick it off, we could also use your Urbit name, Rabsep Bikram.
Yeah.
Just give me some thoughts. What do you think about this?
So I was thinking while you were speaking about it, I think it's critical to show up to discussion meetings like this. And so I think that there should be a preliminary course of 1 or 2 meetings where you show up and at least listen in. You don't even have to engage yet, but showing interest in that way and finding time in your day is important to me. So I think that that's an important criteria for entry. And then also, we have some local tools that we use, like being able to install Gnosis Safe locally, and engaging in taking the time to figure that out and getting that running on your local system so that you have a secure means of accessing the multi-sig, I think is another good way of showing your interest in a meaningful way. So I guess for me, I don't know if it's ritualized enough to the way that you were kind of thinking of it, but showing concerted interest and repeated interest would be important to me for group members.
Mm-hmm. And also, we have a public chat. So the Dalten/collective was an invite-only chat. And now since OS1 is released, that chat has gone away and now it's completely public. What do you think about engagement in that public place as well?
That's great. That's good. That's pretty low effort to get into a chat room and engage sometimes, although I do think it's nice. I guess the reason that I think it's low effort is that if somebody talks in there, it puts it at the top of your list. You know what I mean? So you can easily just click on it and go, yes, I agree. Or, like there's very little overhead in getting there. So I think that's a great preliminary step to learn about the group. But I really do think that participation in some of the elective and higher effort elements is where it's at for me.
Certainly. And I would tend to agree. And I would even push it a little bit further with, say you have some interest in the Dalten Collective and you can do some of these low effort things and you put in some time. You might even do some task in which that you receive some salary for. That's completely, I would say, reasonable. We're not going to ask people to do work for free necessarily. But over time, as one builds your reputation, you could imagine a situation where you have an additional sponsor from a full member plus some additional reputation that we can point to. And that would be the first, rung of membership in the Dalten Collective. Okay, yes, you've meeting these requirements, and now you're entered into the group.
I like that sponsorship idea, and I think that we could use some of the tokens that we've been working on to represent tasks that have been completed or reputational score. So like you could have, let's just arbitrarily say, 2 tokens indicating that you've attended and done a task or something like that, plus a member's vouch. And then, or alternatively, rather, you could have 10 tokens that indicates that you've done enough that though people don't know you as well as maybe somebody else who's gotten in on that easier level, you've done enough to indicate that you're interested to the point where we would like you to be in the group.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So Sarpin, since you actually have some, Solidity experience, or at least a little bit more than myself, what do you think about something like bootstrapping a basic reputation system on either Ethereum or some other, platform that we could, smart contracting platform?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, great. For some reason it wasn't working earlier. Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's definitely a good idea. I mean, with respect to like ERC20 and reputation, there's like the fact that it's exchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe we don't want that. Maybe we do. I don't know. But there's like other options. Like I know, there's I mean, it'd be very easy to just modify ERC20 itself and just remove like the transfer or something. Dorg does something similar. We use like DAOstack's rep feature. I'm not saying we should use DAOstack because it's like a whole big thing. But they've got a rep feature where, and like the protocol is like every $200 you make through doing contract work, you make one rep. And so that works pretty well because then it's kind of like who's been showing up. You can't get rid of it. You can't sell it. We can vote to slash it, vote using rep to slash certain people's rep. Say if they're like, sometimes this happens voluntarily. It's like, yeah, I started the project, but I want to diversify. I don't want to be the rep whale, so on, whatever. So I don't know. This just is like a consideration, like the exchangeability aspect of it might not be something we want.
Yeah, those are great thoughts. And I think certainly we'd want to be considering whatever kind of off the shelf sort of features or contracts, because creating something from scratch is going to have a whole lot of other probably other considerations. So if there is something that we can use that's sort of almost what we need and just modify it slightly, that could be a really great way to go.
I've never spun up a DAOstack DAO, but we do like, I know like some people at Dorg have been working on DAO like DAO creator stuff, and my impression is it's getting to the point where you can just like press a few buttons to build a DAO.
Yeah.
That would be different than the multi-sig, of course. But just as, a possibility.
Excellent. Well, speaking on our multi-sig, and maybe we should give the people who are watching that have a little less context. So one thing that we did to sort of learn how to use this software is we just spun up an ERC20 token. We called it $10 after Dalten, the galaxy at which Dalten is underneath. And we created it, then we created some tokens, and I think that's kind of where the multi-sig is at right now, right? We have 5 tokens. We haven't done anything else with them. Is that right, Rapsid?
That's right.
Yeah.
We need to get those passed around.
Yeah, we'll pass them around and we'll play with it a little bit more. And then after that is when the star Dalten will officially transfer to once the multi-sig is comfortable and feels like they can execute on transactions fairly reasonably. And I think we're close. Yeah, that's some good ideas. And so next steps on that, I think let's bring some of these ideas and topics into the chat and discuss them a bit more with the folks that are there, and also get the other 2 multi-sig members in the loop as well. And I'll take care of that. I'll make sure that they're both informed, either by watching this video or some other conversation. Yeah, that sounds good. And then I don't know if you both saw that we got a really basic website up on dalten.org, which has a very, very minimal look and feel, as well as explainer about what it is that we're kind of up to. And if you have any comments on that, please let me know, and I can take that under consideration as well.
Yeah. So did you
I
get
haven't seen it previously, but I like it.
Okay, good.
Did you get the? You're still working on the SSL part of it?
Yeah. So to let everybody know what happened there, when I created the Dalten, I got an SSL using the app Acme, which actually does a Let's Encrypt and puts those PEM files in your Urbit itself, so that you can log on through an HTTPS portal for landscape. So I had done that. So Urbit is already using port 443. So I haven't quite figured out either how to tell Dalten to stop using 443, because what happens right now, if you go to HTTPS :/Dalten.org, it will take you to landscape. So
okay.
I think I can fix that with some rewrite rules, but I'm not. I haven't done server configuration very much, so I still got to figure that out. But that's what I would prefer to have happen in the future, is that Dalten is even its basic text version that we have right now still has an SSL certificate, because that's just sort of best practice on the web these days, and then have some other place for landscape to live, so you can log in and do what you need to do in landscape.
What's serving the HTML on Dalten.org?
Yeah, the server is. It's not Apache. It's the other one that's really common. It's like Nings or something. Nings, is that how it's?
Nginx.
Nginx.
It's pronounced. It's like engine, like a car engine, but it's Nginx.
Yeah, Nginx is what's doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So what I can say, maybe a few brief things. I haven't gotten this set up yet, but Mark has told me how to do it. I'm interested in trying to figure this out maybe at some point. Maybe I will get around to it on my server and then can replicate efforts or whatever. But I can also drop the link. It's like probably what you would want to do is like basically take you've got like the multiple domain names. Like you've got Dalten.org, but then you've also got like Dalten.arvo.network. You probably want to have the Dalten.arvo.network to go to landscape, but you want Dalten.org to go to something else. So you'd set up like an Nginx proxy so that like basically you won't be running your Urbit like on HTTPS or HTTP. You'd just be running it on a local port. Maybe you would do HTTPS, I'm not sure. But you'd have them running on like local ports, and then you'd have Nginx bind to port 80 and port 447 or whatever the SSL one is. And then basically it's like if going to like Dalten.org, it renders like the static HTML. If like Dalten.arvo.network, and then that resolves to like the port forwarded to your locally ran Urbit port. But there's like some configuration there, because like the Gall apps and landscape uses like this HTTP event source thing, which I don't really know, but like that's the crucial link to get this working. I've discovered that this is what I didn't get done before when I tried to do this.
Okay, but in the meantime, I should probably just set up the Dalten.arvo.network thing.
Yes. Which if you did the Let's Encrypt with Acme, you probably already have it. Maybe. I don't know. It's the HEP DNS blah blah like .IP, and then like your IP address with a dot in front, I think.
Yeah. No, I have not done that. But I guess the question would be, though, if I were to do that, then there'd be 2 DNS records for the same IP address, and we wouldn't want that, right?
No, you can have 2 DNS records for the same IP address. Yeah.
With different names? Is that the key
part?
Yeah,
you can do that. And then what you can do is you can have Nginx basically switch on what it is, So like that's typically how you do like subdomains or whatever, is like maybe like you're hosting 5 websites, they all are rooted to the same IP, but then the server that's listening on like port 80 or whatever then serves different things depending on what the URL is being requested.
I see. Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So in that case, I'd set the Nginx rewrite rules. I think that's what they're called. If it's coming from the subdomain from the Arvo network to serve up, whatever. Well, I guess the Urbit itself.
Yeah. Here, I'm dropping this in the chat.
Okay.
There.
Cool. And this is a tweet from Palfun, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, this is tied to the fake user stuff that he's doing, but I mean it also applies just the same to other things, because this is what people have told me about before when I have asked about this.
Cool. Okay. Well, I will make sure to put the link that you just shared in the description for this video. So if anyone else watching has the same issue, then they can follow the breadcrumbs.
Yes.
Awesome.
While we're talking about PalFun, and maybe you just mentioned this, Sarpin, but did you see the thing that he did on PalDev that allows external to Urbit users to chat with an
Yeah,
internal chat room?
I saw that.
That would be really cool to have on Dalten at some point so that people could, even if it's just read only, they could see what's going on in the sort of public chat in Urbit and see how these discussions are proceeding, and that might draw them in a little further.
That's certainly interesting. Yeah, his was right. You could, I think, for
Yeah.
every session, it booted up a moon or something like that.
Oh, is that
And
what it does?
I would guess. I'm just kind of speculating.
No, it's using it's using this fake user store that he built. I've actually had a similar idea because it's kind of like it can take some time to generate a new moon or new comet because you need a lot of entropy. But if you just have basically like a local fake user store and like the application that you're using is compatible with it, then you can just have like, say, like maybe I'm like hosting like a chat gateway and the chat application supports this, and then like their username would be like sarpinlaplux / like then their username. Like that's one way you could do it. And then it's like a given ship to somebody's portal into it. But then like I think like a few steps ahead, probably what you would want to do is like that's like easy onboarding. But once they're already onboarded, it's like, oh, maybe I want to buy a planet. And then what you can do is just like have like a sort of way to like migrate the state over. And so like they like spin up their planet and then all of their state can then be pushed over to there. And now they're like a real Urbit ship and not just like a sort of fake simulated user on a single ship.
That's
pretty
cool.
Yeah.
All right. And one more note, something we might want to work on. Okay. Well, on that, is there anything else you guys wanted to chat about or discuss?
I still owe Sarpin building the card system. I'm sorry, I can't. The DA. What was it called?
AO.
AO. There we go.
AO,
Thank you.
Autonomous Organization.
I'm gonna get that going at some point soon. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. I'm currently so I got like the POC for like on like working locally on Urbit. I'm right now working on the JS implementation, but I plan to get back to that and build the P2P features. But yeah, I think it'd be great because it's like I think it would be good for like operations, but also maybe taking notes and other things. And so I'll keep you guys posted.
Excellent.
Cool.
All right.
I got the bounty for the ETH ABI too, so that's fun. I'm working on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is great. I was going to put one more out there for you. If you so keep an eye out. I wanted to make one for creating raw transactions on Ethereum, so they'd be unsigned, and you could sign them with some other tool because Urbit's not really quite ready to hold secrets yet. But it would create the raw transaction needed for an Ethereum transaction, any arbitrary one. So you would use the ETH, probably in a parser, to create some call data as well. If you're doing anything with interacting with contracts, anyway.
Yeah. I think this would probably be not too hard to generalize from the ETH sender. The pattern that we kind of were sort of thinking is like if you're running your own Ethereum node on your server, you could just have an unlocked wallet that can then be used with RPC. And then if you like notice something's like going bad because your Urbit's like insecure and it's like making bad RPC calls, you just hurry and shut it down, which isn't like the best, but like still it's kind of better than like it running on your Urbit chip, maybe for now.
Certainly. Yeah, I have
But then
some.
also, like, you could like have it like generate the transaction and then broadcast it to MetaMask, and like that could also work. And MetaMask would sign and
Oh, I see.
broadcast it.
Yeah. That might be more secure. But then it would require like some, you know, it might be not exactly MetaMask because it's sort of MetaMask is a browser extension, and you're not likely to have a browser on any of these servers. But something like MetaMask, I guess you right, or maybe not. I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, something that I noticed is like highly valuable with like Urbit, Ethereum, whatever, is like, I mean, you know, like the graph or whatever, like it caches like reduced blockchain state,
Mhm.
like from reducing events and stuff like that. But like it's like on like a centralized server. I think they are working on like P2P, like, I don't know, proof of stake, sort of incentivized data availability, whatever. But
Mhm.
like, I mean, you could just like have like, I mean, if your Urbit ship is always running, you can
Mhm.
keep an Ethereum node always running, and then you yourself have like the reduced state that you need, and you're not trusting anybody for it.
Yeah, yeah. Which could be also bringing it back to Dalton, something that's really useful for us, because if we have such a state living on the same server where Dalton is, and that state is the state we care about, meaning it's the state of a bunch of different stuff about what Dalton is doing, then yeah, that would work really well.
Yes.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you for coming. And I'm we're going to get into a regular habit of these meetings haven't been very predictable, and that's just because we're just getting started. But yeah, we're going to do it probably on a weekly basis. There's not always going to be really something super important that we're being talking about. It'd probably be more casual than anything else. And yeah, but I think a weekly cadence is the way to go. Probably something midweek, like on a Wednesday. And but I'll be publishing that to the channel for more details. And yeah, stay safe out there.
Thanks. You too.
All right, take care.
Great. Great. Thanks.
Bye.
See you guys.